Hi there! Today I'm going to show you how to make your own smoked salmon with a Weber barbecue. No special smokers, no special equipment. But here is what we're going to do. These are some beautiful salmon fillets, and just frying them or cooking them makes them pretty good. But we're going to make them really good by smoking them. And it's going to be a cold smoke, not a hot smoke. I'll explain more later. But let's get started right now because we have one little problem. We still have some tiny little bones in the salmon. So we're going to start working on taking those out. So we're going to look through these fillets here, and you can feel them a lot faster than you can see them. Now here there's some in here, and we're going to start pulling these out one by one. You don't have to get them all out on the first try, because as we go through the different processes to smoke, you will see that the flesh of the salmon fillets will shrink a bit, and you'll see them more easily. Don't worry about getting them all out at this stage. As we go through the process, the flesh of the salmon fillets will actually shrink a bit, and it'll be easier to spot the bones. So keep doing as well as you can, but don't try to get them all out at this stage. Well, now we're ready to start the next stage. And what we're going to do is we're making what's called a dry brine or a cure. And it's a mixture of salt and sugar and some dill, if you have some, and some black pepper. About a tablespoon of each. And what this does is we put it all over the salmon fillets, and we put it in the fridge for between 24 and 48 hours. And what it does is it draws out the water and firms up the flesh and prepares it to accept the smoke. We use salt and we use sugar. I like brown sugar, but you can use white sugar too. Now there's lots of ideas about the ratios of sugar to salt, but I use 1:1. And for this, since I have about just over 1.5 kilos of salmon fillets, I'm going to make about 600 grams, 700 grams of salt and about the same of the sugar. So to measure, I've got an old-fashioned scale here, and I've got a big mixing bowl. So let's mix there's 600 grams of sugar. And here goes 600 grams of salt. I've got some dry dill. Fresh dill works much better if you can find it, but if not, a tablespoon and a half of dry dill will work. And some black pepper, another tablespoon. Let's mix that up. I've got a bowl of my brine cure mix. The sugar, the salt, a bit of dill, and some pepper. It's ready to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a layer of this on the bottom of our glass dish. Okay, so you want to get a nice layer of your mix, and then you can start putting your first fillets in. And you want to cover those. And now let's squeeze these last two pieces here into there. All right. All right, we've got all the fillets covered, and it looks like we're ready for the next step. We're going to put some plastic wrap over this and stick it in the fridge. Okay, I've got some plastic film here, and I'm putting it over our salmon, just to seal the air. So we're going to get this plastic wrap over the dish just to seal the air out. And now it's ready to put in the fridge. So we've completed the first steps. We've purchased our salmon. We brought it home, washed the fillets. Sometimes you have to cut them in smaller pieces. We check for bones. We've taken some of them out and the rest can come later. And we've set up our brine cure mix and put our fillets in that. That will draw the liquid water out of the fillets and make them firmer and ready for the smoking process. So in the next part of this video, I'm going to tell you about the equipment you'll need to make a cold smoke. Now we're going to start working outside. We've got our trusty Weber barbecue here, and we have a few accessories we're going to need. Now I know I said earlier you don't have to buy any special equipment. Well, I'm talking about an individual smoker, something made out of stainless steel and very expensive. This is just a few things that you'll have to find. Now this one is a little grade, and this is to put the sawdust in to make smoke. You've got to burn something to make smoke. So this is it. I had a tough time trying to find one, but you can always find them on Amazon. Circular ones, rectangular ones like this, just about any form you want. And this is calling wood chips, but they're not really chips. This is a kind of sawdust that you're going to burn in this little form here. And this together inside the barbecue will give you the smoke you need without charcoal and a high temperature. Other things that you're going to need are thermometers. Now, I suggest you can get one like this. This one is about 10-15 euros, and you can find it on Amazon, or you can find a lot of restaurant supply or kitchen supply places. It takes a bit of time once you put it in the meat to find the temperature. Now, if you want one that's instant, that'll cost you about 100 euros, but this one will do. The other kind of thermometer that's really handy is one with a special steel protected cable, and you put this in the meat you're cooking or smoking, and you can stick it on the outside of the barbecue so you don't have to open it up each time. Now, if you've got nothing else, a little plastic thermometer will do just fine, since this is a cold smoke. All right, we're going to be using our Weber barbecue, but here you'll notice that there's no charcoal, and we're going to be placing that little grill in here and start that burning. And we're going to adjust the top to about this kind of an opening. Now, most Webers are equipped with this adjustment so that you can set the openings on the bottom so that there's an airflow. But we don't want the airflow to be too fast. So I would suggest you check and you mark the openings, and I would leave it about a quarter open. Well, it's been a little more than 24 hours, and because I found some of the pieces weren't quite curing. So I rearranged things, and now you can see there's a lot more liquid in here. What we're going to do now is to take this plastic off and start pouring out the solution. Now you notice the pieces are much more firm than before they had the cure. So that part of this process is over. Now we're going to dry them out. Now once we get them reasonably dry, we're going to put them back in the refrigerator at least 4 hours to get all that moisture off so that it forms this soft, sticky substance on the outside of the fillets called a pellicule, which is essential for absorbing that smoke flavor. Well, we're finally outside getting ready to run our smoke. And I'll give you a tip. These wood sawdust is pretty good stuff, but sometimes I think it absorbs moisture. So I put it in the microwave for a minute or two and stir it around to get it to dry out. So we're going to start putting that into the grill. So we're going to start putting it into our grill. And I suggest you keep the box it came in because it's going to spill everywhere. So we start filling this in with the sawdust. So now we've got our grill filled up with the sawdust, and it's time to put it in the barbecue. So we're going to open up the barbecue, and we're going to take out the center section so we can put our wood chips in here. Now it's time to light it, but I would suggest you don't fool around with matches or candles. You get yourself a torch and do it with that. Well, it looked like it's going to stay lit, and it's making a bit of smoke. So we're going to start now, put the salmon in here, and cover the lid up, and it's going to take a few hours. Well, I've got the salmon here that's got nice pellicule on it, dried, ready to go. So we're going to put it in the barbecue. You can see it's smoking. So now we're going to leave this for, until tonight. We'll come back from time to time, make sure it's still smoking, and we'll see how it comes out. It's coming along. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to open the top opening about half, and the bottom opening down here to about half. So now we're going to wait until tonight to see how it turns out. But don't forget, check it from time to time. Make sure there's smoke coming out of here. Well, it looks like it's going to be fine, but I would strongly suggest you get yourself a thermometer in there to check on the temperature. I'm going to put this one, which was not very expensive, and it has a probe that goes inside, and we'll stick that in the thickest part and then keep this on the outside. Right now it's 13 degrees. So right now it's about 9:30 at night, and the fillets have been in here since 3 this afternoon. So 6.5 hours should be about enough. I found that the sawdust already has stopped smoking, and the temperature is about 14 degrees. So I think we're going to take the salmon fillets out and put them in the fridge, because you have to let that smoke get into the fillets. So let's take them out. So we're going to put these back in the refrigerator. Well, we're finally ready to give this smoked salmon a try. So I'm going to cut off a couple of little pieces here. Got myself some beer, got myself some cut limes, lemons will do too, and we're going to start and sample this. So you should start cutting here on the thicker part. Nice sharp knife. So it's looking pretty good. Let's start with that. As I said, a little lime, little lemon goes a long way. Smoked salmon. So we'll put some on here. It cuts off another piece. That's good. So here's to your smoked salmon adventure. Give it a try.